What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for being here at my YouTube channel. This is where I talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff I love to talk about: movies, video games, comic books, TV shows. If it's nerdy, if it's geeky, I love talking about it, and this is where I do that. Right now, I'm going to talk to you guys about Harley Quinn Season 2, and I'm going to talk about episodes 2 and 3. I've already got my thoughts up on episode 1 of Season 2. I liked it a lot. I love this Harley Quinn series overall. Episode 2 and 3, I haven't done my review, so I'm just going to knock them both out at the same time. And it's kind of following the scenario that I thought it would, with Harley going to the different districts and taking out the leader of that district. You know, Gotham has fallen, and it's been divided up by the villains, and now Harley, who wasn't proactive enough to take charge, now has to do that. She has to go district to district and take out the villains who are in charge of that district. Episode 2 dealt with the Riddler. And what I really liked about episode 2 was it had Harley and Poison Ivy and Clayface, who morphs into a college-age girl. They infiltrate a college party in the Riddler's district to attempt to take the Riddler out. And that was a very entertaining scenario that had a lot of funny moments associated with it. But what I really liked about this episode was we get introduced to Barbara Gordon. And we kind of see her origin story as she becomes Batgirl. In this universe, we saw her origin story as she becomes Batgirl. And I really liked that. That was a really fun part of this series so far. And they did it respectful. You know, I've talked about a lot of the characters in the Harley Quinn show. While I love the Harley Quinn show, they aren't always respectful with all the characters. They kind of make them into jokes. For the most part, they treated Barbara Gordon pretty respectfully and gave her a pretty solid origin story that I enjoyed. The way they took out Riddler was at least entertaining. His plot, while silly, kind of harkened back to some of the... Honestly, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Batman Forever. His plot in Batman Forever. While it definitely harkened back to some of Riddler's more silly plots, it was overall entertaining, and it really fit the universe that they've presented us in this Harley Quinn series. Episode 2 dealt with a heist. Episode 3 dealt with a heist where they wanted to steal something so they can take out Mr. Freeze's district, and they bring along Catwoman because she's an expert thief. And how do I talk about how they presented Catwoman? I feel like they presented Catwoman pretty respectfully. But it's not really the Catwoman that I know from the comics. It is and it isn't. Like, the Catwoman who is currently in the comics is a heroic character. For the most part, she's heroic. She's allied with Batman. But she has a lot of passion for Gotham City. She has a lot of passion for her allies. And this Catwoman was very aloof. This Catwoman just didn't care about anything. She cared about herself. So in that sense, it's probably a little more classic Catwoman than it is current Catwoman. They did make the decision to make Catwoman an African American, which I have no problem with. You know, there's a history of Catwoman being depicted as an African American, and honestly, once they got into it, it's not something that matters. The only reason I bring it up is because there are people it's going to matter to. I'd like to remind those people that there is a history of Catwoman being an African American. So now that that's been said, I didn't love the way Catwoman was portrayed. Catwoman was portrayed as this entirely aloof person who didn't care about anybody except for herself. That's not the Catwoman that I've come to really enjoy in the current run of comics. I'm just so used to her being allied with Batman. So I don't know. And even the way that she was to Harley and Poison Ivy. I'm so used to Catwoman being real tight with Harley and Poison Ivy, and that wasn't really what was presented here. We was presented a Catwoman who was even kind of apathetic to them. And in the comics, Catwoman is really tight with Harley and Poison Ivy. And this was just an apathetic character who was in it for herself. We had a nice subplot with Kite Man. He wanted to steal a ring so he could propose to Poison Ivy. And Kite Man is one of my favorite characters in this series so far. He's hilarious. He's endearing. He's somebody who is interesting. Following his story has been very interesting, and I really loved his story. His he's afraid of traps, but he went into this booby trap filled area to get this ring for Poison Ivy. And I know that a lot of people really want to see that Harley and Poison Ivy relationship go to the next level. And there was maybe a hint of that in this episode. For me, I love the Kite Man Poison Ivy relationship. I want to see that relationship explored more because that's really interesting to me. Just the dynamic between the two of them. So yeah, this was a couple really funny episodes. King Shark, Dr. Psycho, they had some nice moments to shine. Clayface had some nice moments to shine, but really, they're really kind of diving into that relationship between Poison Ivy and Harley. And yeah, right now it's a platonic friendship relationship, and it's to me right now that is the more interesting relationship, especially with the Kite Man dynamic, because I love that character in this show. So overall, I'm still loving this, guys. I'm still loving the Harley Quinn series. I'm so happy that it's turning out to be this good. Movie directors, take note. Next time you do a Harley Quinn movie, this is what it's supposed to look like. Suicide Squad is a different entity. Harley, and I've always said Harley Quinn is a chameleon. Harley Quinn is going to take the traits of the people that she's around. When she's in the Suicide Squad, she kind of takes those traits, the villainous but heroic type of traits, the action-oriented traits. When she's with the Joker, she takes on those traits where she's more diabolical, she's more evil, she's more insidious. When she's with Poison Ivy and her gang, she takes on more of those whimsical, funny, friendly traits. Harley Quinn's a chameleon. I've always said that. And whoever she's around, that's we all know people like that. I know people like that. People who will change their personality based on what group they're hanging out with. That's what Harley Quinn is. She's somebody whose personality changes based on who she's hanging out with at the time. And that's fine. That's real people are like that. And I want movie directors to take note that if we do another Harley Quinn movie, because Birds of Prey was a Harley Quinn movie, if we do another Harley Quinn movie, this show is what it's supposed to look like. Because this is great. This is great. It's hilarious. It's action-packed. It's faithful to most of the characters. Not all, but most. I still don't like the Jim Gordon interpretation. Don't like it. But it's faithful to most of the characters. We still haven't seen exactly what's happening with Batman yet. And we still haven't seen the Joker pop up. And we know the Joker's going to pop up. We just know he is. But we haven't seen that happen yet either. But overall, really good so far. And looks like we're going to start getting into a little bit more of Bane's territory soon. And I really like this version of Bane. It's kind of a cross between the animated version and the Tom Hardy version with a splash of, I don't know, Spaceballs. So yeah, I love this series and I can't wait to see more of it. But I'm just one dude. What were your thoughts on this series so far, season 2? Specifically episodes 2 and 3, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you for being here at the LQ Review, where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff we love to talk about. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.